So for you guys who don't know who this is Chris Broad, Mr. Affable himself, talking about the awful truth about YouTube's biggest influencers. Can you guess who they are? This is an imaginary opening theme song. Oh. Yes, no, maybe.
You know, we're often taught in Hollywood films that the bad guys don't get to win, that there's consequences for your actions, right?
Well, it depends on the film.
The more you realise that simply isn't the case. I've been lucky to do this 12 years now, and in that time I've witnessed YouTube empires rise and fall. Hell, I've witnessed my stomach and waistline rise and fall, subsequently rise again, unfortunately. And amidst those 12 years, I can pinpoint the worst moment of my whole career without hesitation, the absolute low point of it all. 6 years ago, on a cold winter's morning, a Japanese news crew turned up to my apartment from the biggest morning news show in the country called Mezamashi Terebi. I'd been contacted because something awful had happened, and I'd been asked to explain why. One of the world's biggest YouTubers at the time had
which is interesting.
And done some really messed up things, from throwing Pokemon balls at police officers.
Like, it's not like he had anything to do with what Logan Paul was doing at this time, but just because they also knew Chris was a YouTuber, and a foreigner for that, they, asked him about some comments and saying, well, what's up with this? Do you have any idea what's happening here? And all that. So yeah, that's what happens when, you're quote unquote in the same space. Sure, like they were both on YouTube, right? Same space, but it's not like they were ever crossed paths with each other either, right? So yeah.
Officers and terrorizing the public, to going into a forest and filming something so horrific. I can't even explain what it is because it would instantly have this video blacklisted.
Well, you never stand next to a dead guy?
Yeah. This, really was something indeed. And even back then when people were actually canceling people on YouTube, and making sure they didn't have a platform, somehow he just kept skating by and stuff. That was the most craziest part of it, indeed.
I was really embarrassed to be associated with this in any way. But as a foreign YouTuber in Japan, I was the closest thing the TV show had to the guy in question, right?
Yeah,
and
see?
I had to sit
they
and
couldn't
explain
find the guy,
to
so
several million people why a foreign YouTuber would so brazenly exploit the dead for views. Not a normal situation, right? Sitting in your apartment, 9 a.m, surrounded by cameras, having to explain that. What do you even say? And in a normal world,
yeah, especially since you weren't the one that was doing it, right? It's even more uncomfortable. It's one thing to comment on something that you yourself did. It's another thing to comment on something that you were probably either shown or you saw somehow, but you were nowhere near the incident, right? It's like, why me?
That guy did would have been a career-ending move.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
If not that, then perhaps another video he posted just weeks later, tasering dead animals.
Yeah, he kept doing laughs and laughs and laughs of something for sure. But, he still kept going and going and going. Yeah, it says Logan Paul sparks controversy again by tasering 2 dead rats and scooping languid koi fish out of his pond despite vowing to be better following forest scandal. Yeah, he definitely got better for sure 2 months later.
And in the years since, the headlines surrounding this guy have continued to...
Logan Paul offers partial refund for failed Crypto Zoo game. I mean, even I think the refund that he offered was nothing really as well. So, yeah. But, I always thought this when I saw that he made Crypto Zoo, 100%, if Logan Paul ever intended to give people their money back, he wouldn't have launched Crypto Zoo in the first place. But that's just my opinion. So low a refund, yeah, it was barely a refund. And it only happened because, CoffeeZilla exposed him of what he did with Crypto Zoo, which then, turned more eyeballs towards him because of what he did and stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. You get the point,
Dispel bad news. There's not been much in the way of a redemption arc.
Severe lapse in my judgment.
Yeah. Also, it's so weird that Prime, the Olympic Committee sues Logan Paul's drink company. The suit accuses Prime Hydration of using trademark terms including Olympic and Team USA to promote a sports drink that features Kevin, right? But it's also so weird. Like, people were saying Prime had, what, lead in it, etc., but people can still buy it, so I don't know. It's always weird to see what people can get away with, you know?
Bad news. There's not been much in the way of a redemption arc.
Severe lapse in my judgment.
With all that in mind, you can probably imagine my disappointment when mr.beast, the world's biggest YouTuber, partnered with this guy, Logan Paul, and endorsed him to an audience of over...
I mean, you know, a lot of people were pointing out mr.beast seems sketchy all these years, but no one really said, I mean, how can you really prove it and stuff, right? Because, of course, he did, like, the more philanthropist side of stuff as well, right? And, yeah. But the second someone saw that he combined his chocolate bar with Prime is the second people should have realized that mr.beast is no longer hiding his true nature, really, and he just outright saying, yes, this is who I'm associating with, and I see no problem with it, and all that, you know? That's fair enough, which is sad, though, you know? But it is a thing, that's for sure.
300 million subscribers, many of them kids. Now it's an exciting...
Yeah, plus, this Lunchly is such a lazy product by them. It's not even a new product. It's half of a new product, quote-unquote, of what they did, and it's not even that, right? I'm saying half because, look, Logan and KSI had Prime. That was a product that already existed, right? mr.beast had Feastables, again, in the product that already existed. All they did was added a little bit something else to them, and that was it. You know, that's why it's a half new project, to get even more money, so then they can line their pockets even more, to then maybe go sue other people, or just throw away the money for some other stuff. I don't know, right? Party. Who knows? No longer Mr., just a Beast now. Well, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I think, though, once you see someone associate with someone else, right, it just goes out the window. Whatever you thought about them it just goes out the window, right? Unless it was like you see these two together and it's a way that, like, he's saying, oh, maybe you really should stop doing this, bro. And then he's all like, okay, bro, I'll listen to you. And then he does completely different, you know, content all of a sudden. Like, unless it's that, you know, them being together was already pretty sketchy in the first place.
300 million subscribers, many of them kids. Now it's an exciting month for mr.beast, particularly with the impending launch of the somewhat controversial Amazon TV show, in which he allegedly spent $14 million constructing what appears to be...
Yeah, also, it's pretty close now to this one, December 19th. Very, very close to Beast Games. I'm still gonna be very surprised if they actually go through with, like, showing it on Amazon, but they probably will, so we'll see what happens. Like, did they edit it out enough stuff to make it look like, you know, everything was okay? Or maybe they still left stuff in and then people are going to point out the stuff they see in the episodes? Who knows?
A rainbow-coloured prison camp. Honestly, until this year, I didn't really have any opinions on mr.beast. His content isn't really aimed at me. Still, you look at the 300 million subscribers.
Also,
mr.beast. His content isn't
I
really aimed at me.
want to point out...
Still, you look at the 300...
This video, the 50 YouTubers fight for $1 million, I really do hope that the winner, which was Jaden Animations, actually does receive the money from him. Because, like, Jaden was trying to give other people a chance to go attend to our school and stuff, right? So I really do hope that he at least goes through with that and actually does give the money. Because as of now, I haven't seen anything that's, you know, money was given, but who knows? We'll see what happens. And ignore all the people sent to the hospital. Maybe.
100 million subscribers, the 200 million views per video, and it's hard to deny that that is an impressive achievement. And you have to wonder what drives someone to want all that, you know, where does that motivation come from? We're told that it comes from a desire to make the world a better place. It's about inspiring kids and highly publicised charity work. And even a cold-hearted cynic like me wants to think that the person at the top has a noble ambition, you know, that they're guided by something more than just a masked ambition.
Well, sure, people always want to try. There's going to be the side of people that does, you know, even if it's like a sliver, right? They still want to hope that there's hope that, you know, other people that when they rise to the top, they're not instantly garbage, right? And then they're actually doing something positive, you know? But more often than not, unfortunately, that's never the truth. But, you know, you still try to hope for it. But yeah, who knows? He doesn't consider himself rich despite earning 700 million a year, says his mom looks after his bank account. Okay, even this wording is kind of weird though. I mean, if you have 700 million a year and you don't think you're rich, I don't think that's a humble brag. I just think you're trying to look humble, you know?
Ambition for money, views, power. Maybe he really is a force for good. Oh wait, he just wanted to sell snack boxes to children.
Yeah, more money.
Snack boxes that...
Yeah. Also, I would like to point out that it's so funny how when they were promoting Lunchly, they literally said the words, "This is real cheese." And then this is proof that it is real cheese. The mold is proof that it is real cheese because they did not seal this again. And I don't think they sealed it better at all, even though a lot of people did report it's moldy and stuff. I don't think they changed the process of it at all. What they really need to do is like put this cheese in a separate plastic bag as well, because this is not enough. The cheese is still breathing, obviously, more by the time people try this product, which is why Lunchables, right, don't claim they have real cheese, and they can package it in that way. Like, for this to work out, they need to package cheese. You know, even when I bought the sliced cheeses, right, I got a little bit annoyed because every time you open up the sliced cheese, it's like plastic, plastic, plastic. But I also understand that even though you're annoyed while using it, it's to prevent the cheese from going moldy quickly in the first place. You need to package cheese better. No one went to the grocery store or something and like looked at the cheese and looked at how they're packaged. Even when you buy the cheese that's triangle shaped, right? It's completely covered with aluminum foil. All of the pieces are covered. Cheese needs covering, people. Unless they're suddenly saying this was actually blue cheese all along. Which, doubtful, but yeah. Sure, there's some good people, but they don't make headlines because people focus on it. I mean, I think that people that actually do good eventually will go into the circle of, you know, like, in the headlines, but they won't always be in the circle of the headlines, right? Like, let's say someone did 10 good things, right? They would probably be in the headlines for like one of the things, that's it. Or maybe all 10 things would be summarized in just one title and that's it. But the negative things would just keep on going. You wanted to believe he was somewhat good, sad. Well, like I said, there's, you know, there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of hope that there's a little bit of goodness left, but when you're confronted with evidence that suggests otherwise, you also have to be able to accept that, you know? Like, for me, at one point, I always joke, like, maybe I should reach out to mr.beast and, like, get, like, a little bit of money so I can go and rent an apartment and stay on my own and stuff, or, like, get a small house, but that's always just, you know, just the joke of it all, right? But for sure, people wanted to believe, they believed, and then, unfortunately, you know, I wouldn't got the payout, yeah, for sure. It is unfortunate. Would have been dodged like others. Yeah, probably. But no, I only had that thought at the very beginning when, you know, he was like giving a house, like there was the whole, he gave someone a house, right? The homeless person and stuff. But like I said, I always thought of it as a joke, and I obviously never reached out to him or anything, so. Like I said though, this really did prove that this cheese is, you know, legit, and also it proved that no one knows what real cheese needs to be packaged like. And I doubt they changed it, so.
that quickly appeared in photos
The
shared
mold's
online
gonna
to
keep
have
going.
practically turned mold into a flavour profile. Yummy yum yum, shut up and give it to your kids. It's got an electrolyte in it. He partnered with a guy who not only did all the awful shit that I just listed off, but who recently turned one of the most important moments of his life, his wife's pregnancy, into one big billboard for the aforementioned.
Yeah. So the wife had the kid, and you can see he's just always plugging like Prime, Lunchly. He's all like, yeah, I'm totally gonna give this to my kid. Yeah, all the stuff and all that, right? And whenever you confront Logan about something, right, he's always like, yeah, I plug all my merch all the time, and 100%, bro. Of course I have to plug. It's all about the plug. Like, here's the thing, though. If he's so desperate to plug the merch, is he worried that all of his money is gonna go to, like, eventual lawsuits or something? Like, if you're that much at the situation of the top, you would never be this desperate in a way for money, right? Like, I don't know. He just always comes off a little bit very desperate. Like, he really needs the money, but he should have the money. So it's like, why are you acting a little bit desperate? I don't know. But that's just my opinion. You know?
Snack box. At first it was very strange. Like, how could mr.beast, a guy who is famed for being a genius, who mastered the algorithm, how could he not calculate that partnering with such a man would be anything other than a shit idea? But perhaps it shouldn't come as a surprise, as this is literally the guy who once made a video saying Logan Paul's name 100,000 times. Several months before Logan Paul himself went into a Japanese forest and gave the world 100,000 reasons to forget his name. Who knows? Saying a name 100,000 times, maybe it does something to you. You know, like a kind of crappy version of Inception. Maybe that's why he partnered with him. Or maybe it was the fact that Logan Paul's drink Prime is selling hundreds of millions.
Maybe he was just manifesting the future for himself. He was all like, okay, if I cannot get Logan's attention, if I say his name 100k times, right? Maybe in the future I can partner up with him if I get to a certain point, and then we can combine something and be in a partnership. OMG. Maybe he was just trying to manifest himself. Or maybe that was just his low-key sign saying, you know, like, in my future plans, I'm definitely going to be with Logan Paul in one way or another, you know, like a partnership, maybe appear in a video or something. Something. Who knows? Power Ranging combining? Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Yeah. Grew to the size of his fish tank so he can't live on smaller income. Well, yeah, probably. So it's something. You know what the sad part is, though, right? Like, the more they get from sales and all that, the more it's just gonna go into, like, the, yeah, I'm suing CoffeeZilla fund. You know. That's why people really need to stop their kids from purchasing their items. You know?
Of dollars. And such a partnership was an opportunity simply too good to ignore. Now, until this year, any criticism of mr.beast was immediately the subject of much backlash, particularly due to his extensive charity work. You know, philanthropy can be a very powerful defensive mechanism. You know, I still remember a year ago the backlash Jacksepticeye Sean received after he famously said that mr.beast was ruining YouTube and that YouTube became more about money than it did about having fun.
Yeah, no, he didn't like it.
It's not an unreasonable opinion to have, and we're all in.
Yeah, plus, by the way, even if he did say this, right? Even if Jacksepticeye said he doesn't like mr.beast, right, and got hate for that, like, why would you send so much outlash to someone that just simply says they don't like someone, you know? Sometimes people just really gets too obsessed over someone and they just can't think rationally. Like, look, guys, look, even if you like someone and then someone else says they don't like that person, that doesn't mean you need to send hate to that person, because sending hate to that person is not going to change their opinion upon the person that they do not like. Just because you don't like someone or hate them does not mean you're going to do anything to them or anything. Just, you know, people are going to have their opinions one way or another. Sometimes you become very fast friends with someone, and sometimes, you know, you like chat with someone who's a friend of your friend, and then both of you come to the conclusion that, yeah, you don't like spending time with each other, so you would probably dodge it's if your friend asks you to spend time with them again, well, they're there. But, you know, you wouldn't, like, hate on your friend either, though. You know? No, I didn't see that. It's the brainwashed masses, I see.
Than it did about having fun. Agree with it or not, it's not an unreasonable opinion to have, and we're all entitled to have our opinions, right? But like clockwork, MrBeast called him out in a now deleted and somewhat childish outburst, saying,
Of course, deleted.
"So I ruined YouTube because I didn't buy a mansion and a sports car. I inspired kids to help people." Oh, he says that out loud. And yet literally...
And also, no one said you ruined YouTube because you didn't buy a mansion and sports car. He didn't say that. He just said that, you know, you made everything about money. No one ever says sports cars. That just goes to show, you know, how much he cares about monetary value for sure. Night night, Kato. Thanks for being around, Kato. Go see Fox Waifu in your dreams. You know, and then he says, if he had fun, the videos would be longer. What does that even mean, lol? You think I'd give up every hour of my life for 14 years if I didn't have fun? I mean, I suppose to a degree he does have fun with seeing all the views and the money and all this stuff that comes in. Sure. Sure. It was his desires leaking, probably. But again, like I said, the moment someone saw MrBeast collaborating with Logan Paul, that should have been like the biggest slap to your face and the wake-up call that you needed. Like, oh, yeah, this is gonna be bad.
Childish outburst saying, "So I ruined YouTube because I didn't buy a mansion and a sports car. I inspired kids to help people." Oh, he says that out loud. And yet literally last month it was revealed he did have a sports car because he got done for speeding in it, complete with a nice clean shaven mugshot to match, in an also now deleted video where he bought a BMW i8, a $100,000 car.
So I guess I'll show you guys the inside.
Yeah.
So
Which I think fits the definition of sports car. Allegedly he drove it 122 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone. And look, granted, he was a young man, he's come a long way since, and we all...
Yeah. Plus, you know, like, he made a lot of videos with, like, fancy cars as well. So he knows what fancy cars look like anyway. So, I see eyebrows were raised.
We all make mistakes. I myself have got a speeding ticket or two. Not for doing 122 miles per hour, but I don't think my K-car could do that speed if I pushed it off a cliff. But that reply of his always stuck with me. Right there, it was the story of how MrBeast kind of sees himself. And as somebody who did charity fundraising myself this year, you know, cycling for 2 weeks, raising $1 million, I think it's great that you can use charity as a sort of shield. The next time somebody criticises me or my videos or anything about me, my hair, I could be like, fuck you, I cycled on a bicycle for 2 weeks, I raised $1 million for charity, I inspired kids.
Yeah.
Oh, he says that out loud. Now, a few weeks ago, I had a rant about...
Yeah, also, it's always troubling if someone always reminds you of something that they did every time. No matter what you tell them, if they always just throw it in your face of what they did, so that's also a bit like, wait a minute, what's going on here, you know? Because usually when people do good deeds, right, and stuff like that, they don't always throw it in someone's face that they did it, right? Like, they maybe say, like, one time or something else if it comes up, right? But they won't, like, always slam it in your face that they did something. I help the cat once. Who cares if I help people? Yeah. It's always, you know, it's just a distraction tactic and all that other stuff for sure.
On a stream after I drank a little bit too much caffeine. And now people have heard the story of how I became Logan Paul's PR man. Hopefully people understand why I had that rant, both here and there. It sort of went viral online on YouTube and Twitter and a few places. And it was quite interesting seeing the response. I also felt quite exposed because, you know, it's easier just to say nothing on these sort of matters. Keep your head down, like most people. Even doing this video now, very stupid of me. This video will open myself up to more scrutiny than I would have otherwise had. I had a few people sort of distance themselves from me, which is fair enough. He's a powerful guy, old MrBeast, and entire companies are built around him. You know, people don't want to burn that bridge. I
mean, yeah, but you also know who will stick by you if they put distance between you just because you spoke what was on your mind. Then at least that's good. Now you know who you should trust to what degree and stuff, you know? I'm just saying. That's the silver lining there.
I
For
witnessed
sure.
some comments saying the Logan Paul thing was 6 years ago, the Forest incident, it's in the past,
Yeah.
we have to forgive, we have to forget, time to move on. And I agree, if somebody shows remorse for their actions and learns from it and moves on, then he should be able to forgive them, even for something perhaps as bad as all the stuff he did in Japan. But type Logan Paul's name in online and the headlines aren't exactly a source of inspiration. It's never too late to turn it round, of course. Last year I made a video on 2 influencers who were kind of the spiritual successors to Logan Paul.
It's inspiring
who came
how to
Japan
get money,
and did some
apparently.
really
But that's it.
fucking stupid things. One of
In
them
the
didn't
wrong
learn
way.
from his errors and is now in a South Korean jail. And the other guy, who rode a bullet train without paying, went back
Yeah, I mean, technically, this one is not it's not in jail. He's waiting for trial, and Korea was all like, we are not gonna let our taxpayers pay for you to be in prison and get fed and all that and stuff. You're gonna pay for yourself for your food and accommodate you while you wait in our country for your trial. You know, they were very more
and
brutal
is now
to him
in
for
a
sure.
South Korean jail. And the other guy, who rode a bullet train without paying, went back home to Cyprus to become a member of parliament in the EU. Yes, it
Yeah,
seems
great
fidious.
job.
The man who treated Japanese infrastructure like his
Yeah, see, this is the problem. You know, a lot of time people say, why are people filming themselves doing crimes and then uploading the said crimes that they do? It's because the answer is most of the time, right? Like whether they upload stuff on TikTok, YouTube, they stream it on Kick, Rumble, Twitch, who knows, right? No matter where they actually show it happening, most of the time, nothing really happens to them, which is why they keep uploading it and stuff like that, you know? So that's a little bit of a failure of, like, the, you know, legal system still cannot catch up enough so that people will actually face actual consequences in one way or another. I'm just saying.
His personal Disneyland Fast Pass is now the Che Guevara of Cyprus. But whether I like it or not, and I definitely don't, this drama crap matters, because when I run into a friend, family, viewer, the first question they always ask is, oh, what do you think about that drama on YouTube? What do you think about mr.beast's mouldy lump?
I like my cheese drippy, bro.
What do you think about Hawk Coin?
Give him that hawk!
What did you think of Logan Paul's brother fighting a crippled pensioner?
And then bragging so much about it. He brags so much about beating Mike Tyson. It's like, sure. I mean, if this is your greatest accomplishment, I don't know what to tell you.
And acting like it was somehow a victory for the ages. The influences we see, the drama that unfolds, it all matters because that is how people perceive YouTube in the modern era. And this week's most notable controversy is a good example of that, with Hawk Girl selling her audience an
something like
incredible
that,
new
yeah.
cryptocurrency that hit
Yeah, meme coin crashed from 500 million to 60 million in minutes, fans in meltdown. By the way, I think she did write something about how what CoffeeZilla did to her was not right or something. She was complaining, saying he's just trying to defame me or something. So, who knows?
hit a market cap of $500 million, and which crashed shortly thereafter, losing 95% of its value and leaving
Yeah, sell it all. Girl faces pumping them allegations. Crypto coin collapses hours after launch.
thousands of her viewers out of pocket. What makes it crazy is how she condensed the 5-year lifespan of a modern influencer into just like 2 or 3 months. Step 1, have a viral moment. Step 2, have a podcast. Step 3, unleash a cryptocurrency, which quickly goes wrong.
Yeah. By the way, like I said,
Have a podcast.
the podcast apparently is supposed to be very popular and stuff like that, but a lot of people, whenever they watch it, they are like, she has no idea what she's doing, and what are they even talking about, and I have no idea what's going on. Also, it's very interesting that people say that this is like the top, in the top 3 in America podcasts and stuff, but I don't know, the subscriber count seems kind of low for that to be true, but then again, I don't know much about the podcast space itself, so, maybe. The podcast looks like it's losing popularity. Possible.
Step 3, unleash a cryptocurrency, which quickly goes wrong. And you know, it can be easy to mock the people that bought the coins from this cryptocurrency, right? It shouldn't take a Harvard scholar to work out this isn't somebody who should be masterminding a fucking currency. But the really sad thing is her viewership trusted her. And whatever you think of those viewers, it's kind of sad, really. Now, when my
one
initial
way or
rant
another,
got
yeah.
picked up on stream a few weeks ago, it was sort of
Spiked and flew, I
misconstrued.
see.
People thought my argument was making money is bad, or making money is bad as an influencer, which simply isn't the case. And if it was the argument I was making, it would be very hypocritical as somebody who's done sponsor segments myself. If I hadn't said yes to a few sponsors, I couldn't have built this epic studio. I couldn't have hired a team to create Japan's largest travel series, Journey Across Japan. We had 63 episodes, and only one of them had a sponsor segment in. Very proud of that. And I couldn't have spent 6 weeks in autumn producing a documentary about a Japanese town that tragically got completely destroyed in an earthquake.
Yeah. By the way, this is all stuff that Chris usually does. He lives in Japan. He does documentaries type stuff. He also goes around and, you know, films a bunch of places in Japan. He also tries to do content towards that. That's what he normally does.
Please watch the documentary if you see it come up next week on YouTube. It's far more important to me than this. But the argument I hope to make wasn't a controversial one. It's making money with principles matters, and partnering with people that don't mock the dead in a forest matters. And if the people at the top of this platform with unimaginable reach don't have a good moral compass to guide them, then we all lose for it, particularly the next generation growing up watching this, especially if they're raised on a diet of lunchly. My message this Christmas is simple. Choose
Always
very
look at your
carefully
food.
who you watch on YouTube, or on social media in general, because where your views go really matters. It is an endorsement of that channel, of those people. Obviously, don't watch me, I'm too grumpy and I swear too much. I only let my imaginary children watch 2 YouTube channels. Number 1, Captain Disillusion, and number 2, reruns of Tom Scott. Please, Tom, come back. It's been too long. And this Christmas, when millions of people
Maybe
sit
he
down
will,
to
who
watch
knows?
mr.beast hosting a game show on Amazon with thousands of contestants jumping around carefully choreographed explosions in a field, hoping to be noticed by Senpai, why not put on Home Alone instead? It'll probably be a lot more entertaining, and there's no risk of running into Logan Paul along the way as well. Thanks as always
that's
for
a
putting
good
up
part.
with me, guys, and as I said, there's
For
some
sure.
great videos coming out in the next few weeks. Have a good Christmas, and as it is the holiday season, of course, time for me to go and collect my KFC Christmas bucket. See you around.
Yeah. Yes, he also wrote a book. But yeah, here's a link for the video, guys, if you want to watch it yourself. The awful truth about YouTube's biggest influencers and all that. But here's the thing, though, right? Like, he said that some people kept focusing on the fact that they were talking about money and stuff like that, right? Like, look. Only in this very beginning of YouTube, the people always had doubts that you could make money from YouTube, right? There was the doubters in like the very early times of YouTube, right? But then throughout the years, slowly, more people realized, actually we can make money on YouTube. And then, you know, like, people kept going like that. Like, it is expected if you have a certain amount of audience and a certain amount of views, like, people can see it outright for themselves, right? Like, how many subscribers you have, how many viewers you're getting. Like, they will assume you know, have some kind of revenue, which is not wrong to think about because, you know, that is the actuality of stuff, right? But what they were trying to say when they were ranting about it is more like, these people that have so much money are now just making like products that obviously have problems and problematic, and they see nothing wrong with that. And if someone is not singing their praises and just saying like the smallest thing about them, they go on a rampage, like, how dare you say anything about me, yada yada yada, you know? Like, for instance, the Dan TDM incident, right, where he finally said something when their product launched, right? He just said something very simple about it, and then especially KSI, you know, just lost his mind. But then, of course, he kept trying to play it off, saying, you know, like, I actually didn't lose my mind. This was just my master plan. Yeah, blah, blah, yeah, blah. Whether you believe that or not, okay? Point is, they felt the need to write something when someone said something negative about them, which either goes to show that their ego is so massive that they cannot, accept any form of criticism, even if it's like a mild criticism and stuff. They will not allow it, and so they will just like send us outlash and all that, and then they'll just get angry about it and stuff like that, you know? it is what it is. But unfortunately, with Mr. Beast, aka called, YouTube's golden boy and stuff like that, right? I don't think anytime soon that, he will suffer massive, massive blows. The only way for him to suffer massive, massive blows is if, like, a lot of lawsuits go out for, like, the Beast games, and then those ones are actually won, and then people actually see a bit more of him, and then people actually stop their kids from purchasing their products or giving them views and all that, yada, yada, yada. But even then, those stuff will take a lot of time to come to fruition, So used to people sucking up, they can't imagine people having a problem with them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, it is what it is. Of course, this is all just our opinion upon them and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't see it in the foreseeable future, though. He'll probably still have good numbers even when we're going into 2025. For something massive to happen, like I said, he needs to, like, get properly sued by a lot of people, and then those people need to actually win, and then people need to actually stop, if their kids are purchasing stuff from them, stop that from happening, stop the following, stop the views, stop everything. And then while that's happening, the trickling down and stuff like that, right? Maybe they'll make even more massive mistakes, and then they'll get into more trouble and yada, yada, yada. But of course, I don't think that will happen anytime soon, but you never know. Life is pretty unpredictable, so the only thing you can do for yourself is just try to know who you are, stick to what you believe is right, stick to your morals, and try to not get swept away by people that you think are good but end up not being good or stuff like that. Always be able to have your own opinion. They could lose all their sponsors too for the first massive hit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So far, I don't think they have had a massive hit about anything, so, we'll see what comes of it. Who knows? But yeah, let me know what your opinions are about all this stuff. Yeah.